Okay, very good afternoon, everyone. Good news, I'm the last speaker. Okay, bad news here, to sit through this for the next half an hour. Okay. Well, I really enjoyed the last panel because the last panel session shared a lot about people. Yeah, about the capabilities people provide. And how do you go about socializing the thoughts that goes into the organization with regards to EA? How you get the other teams on board? How do you get the whole organization on board? So, and earlier on, Dr. Kwok also mentioned about training, right? And how do we need to equip our people with the right skills? So it's not just certification, but skills as well. So for this session, I'm going to share with you about, well, I was told this is a sustainability kind of topic, so I have to add green in it. Just to justify for me to stand here. I'm just going to talk about training, right? So I just added green in it, okay? Okay, so that's done. So I'm justified. Okay, I'm going to talk about the architecture mindset. Okay? Next, I'm going to talk about the learning ecosystem, EA competency, EA capability overview, industry certification, skills framework for ICT. Let me go back. And learning approaches roadmap. Okay, this is nothing new. Okay, it's nothing new. We have heard that the journey we are in, as I quote Agus. Okay, I quote him. He said the journey is what exciting but scary. Okay, we are moving so fast. The business is moving fast. Technology is moving fast. We are all moving fast. But if you are in a vehicle that is driven by a professional and you know where you're going, you will not be afraid. Okay? But if you are in a vehicle with someone who do not know where they're going and do not know how to drive, you'll be very afraid, even at 30 kilometers an hour. Okay? So we're going to share how are we going to adapt ourselves? How is the organization going to adapt themselves, okay, to embrace this speed? How do we get prepared for all these things? Okay, we should be prepared by now because we are already running very, very fast. Okay, so now we are trying to catch up. Okay, first of all, let me just quote this: building an architecture mindset across the organization. This is by from McKinsey, an article from McKinsey. In most digital native company, everyone is either an architect or thinks like one. So that's something that we can look at, right? Making everyone part of it, taking ownership. Okay? So leaders with high digital aspiration need to embed the same kind of mindset to socialize. Okay, educate the organization why good architecture is important. Communication. We heard a lot about communication earlier on. What do we communicate? Okay, how do we communicate? I like the who, what, how, where, when, why, which. I think I got 5 W's. It's okay, more than one. Okay, so now we look at the learning ecosystem. Okay, we know about the architecture mindset, where we need that to be embedded in the organization. Everyone in the organization needs to play a part. Okay? EA is for everyone. It's not just for one person because everybody is involved in delivering value for the business. And technology is one of the drivers for it. Okay? So when we are looking at the learning ecosystem, what does it comprise of? Okay? People, content, strategy, learning culture, technology. That's what it comprises of. Okay. So what does it mean in a learning ecosystem? Okay. People, everyone within the organization, partners as well, regulators, so on and so forth. Yeah. Content. Where do we get the materials? Where do we learn from? Okay. So there's online courses, self-paced learning, simulation, documents, videos, history, reports. Okay, that's where you get your content. Technology, what kind of technology will support learning? How do we track learning in an organization? Okay, so if we want to do a purposeful adoption of a learning roadmap to get everybody on board, to make sure everybody has a path in the organization towards the goal of having an architecture mindset, then we need to be able to manage that. How do we track it? Okay? And all these three wouldn't be valid if you don't have a culture for learning. Okay? And if you, that culture will help to drive continuous learning and growth. But we also need a strategy for it. If you have all these in place and the organization said, no, you guys are not doing what we are supposed to get at, okay, we are not aligned, then it's out. Okay, so it has to be aligned with the organization strategy, the business strategy itself. How fast they are going, where they are going, okay, what do they need to do, that would influence our learning roadmap. Next, EA competency and sustainability. I have to add sustainability to make this slide again valid, yeah? Okay, so, sorry. The discipline enterprise architecture must be embraced at every level, as I mentioned. It's a mindset, yeah? So it's a organization-wide cultural shift. And we need to equip EA architects, EA collaborators, EA contributors as well. Okay, so not just architects. Everyone who is involved in the decision making, in the planning part, and what they are doing in their work. Everyone owns their own piece of work. They know their work best. So if they can think like an architect, half the battle is won because they know how to articulate that to the technology team to have them help them move towards that goal. Yeah. Then the next is equipping with the relevant knowledge, abilities, values, attitude to develop and support practice, the sustainable and resource efficient enterprise. Okay. So sustainability is just one of the things that's happening now. Okay, prior to this, we hear a lot about digital transformation. And it's going to change. It's going to evolve. There will be new things coming in that we need to adapt ourselves towards or to. Okay? So if your learning culture is there, you'll be able to put that in place to move with what is coming. So as an architect, our skills are not just to do modeling, okay, talk about certain strategies, etc., etc. But how do we adapt? How do we look at what's happening now, what the organization wants to do or wants to go to? How are we going to help them? So how are we going to take information from the industry, okay, from professional bodies, and have that transform into our organization or socialize into our organization that everybody will now know how to be part or be able to deliver, okay, the goals. Okay, some of the drivers for SES, the driver for competency would be to equip members with the knowledge, okay, to accelerate the EA adoption. That's one of the SES EA chapter's goal. Okay, and alignment with IMDA's mission. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the EA capability overview. Earlier on, we hear a lot of people talking about capabilities, business capabilities, but what about EA capability? What makes up EA? What do we need to have at least something that we can run on? Okay, minimally, it's easy to see the EA practice. Okay, you start, you have some framework, you have some meta model, okay, then you set up your whatever tool, Excel spreadsheet, whatever you want to use to capture your artifacts, okay, implementing it, okay, document it, whatever it is, review what you have, reiterate, yeah, I mean, go and complete the cycle, but what will make it happen? What will support this journey? Okay, will be your EA-based capabilities. Okay? So your EA-based capabilities are EA competency development first. Next, your tool and repository. Next, you have a digital EA office. Start in that manner. Why? If you have a tool and repository, but you do not have the skill, there will be a lot of infighting. Because your brand of EA is different from my brand of EA. Where I come from is, EA is like this. And where you come from, the EA is different. And then it will never end and it will never move forward. Because what goes in here will be half from team A, half from team B, and they cannot merge. They cannot be used. No one understands. So everybody has to be aligned. Everybody needs to be on the same page, same mindset, same direction in terms of what EA is. Okay, at least the fundamental. Then follow the organizational EA culture. How is EA practiced in the organization? Next, then you talk about the EA digital EA office. Then you need some body to govern what you have established here. Okay, to run this. So the fundamental one is EA competency development. So I'll just start with that. Okay, come for our next event and we'll talk about this and this. Okay, chapter 2, chapter 3. Okay, what is in the EA capability overview? If you look at it carefully, it is actually this framework, skill set, the language we speak, the notation, and the tools to support us. Okay? For the framework, it gives you a direction, a methodology, a way of doing things. And this is done at a very high level and aligned to what the organization need, okay, to support the organization, not what the organization need, but to support the organization to achieve their goals. Okay. Next is the skill set. Okay, the who, what, how, where, when, why, which. I think this is one of the most key areas of learning. Is the soft skill of an architect. When is the best time to go into your CFO's office and ask for a budget? Okay, not when he had a very bad day in the boardroom, okay? So you need to read people as well. Okay, I know most of you know how to read people. For those who are married, if you see your spouse very angry with something, you will think, never mind, later then I come in. Yeah? Cool down first. Okay, or else get a bunch of roses or, you know, get a beer for the husband and then, okay, that settles it. Okay? Next is the notation. If we speak different language, if my PowerPoint has different shapes and colors and all that, what's the meaning to it? And someone else will look at it and say that, what is this and what is that? They will ask you to explain a diagram. A picture speaks 1,000 words. Okay? An EA diagram that doesn't follow certain standard notation within the organization I'm talking about, it need not be global, but at least within the organization, you must have some sort of standards. It's like a picture giving you 1,000 words. No, it doesn't speak 1,000 words. It gives you 1,000 words. You go and piece it yourself. You go and interpret it yourself. Okay? Very different. Okay? One, it tells you a story. The other one, it just gives you a bunch of words. Okay? That's what happens if you don't have proper notations adopted within your organization to communicate the EA artifacts. Yeah? Next, you need a tool. You need somewhere to manage all this, to manage the collaboration, the EA collaboration, to govern it, okay, to store it as a single source of truth. Today, we all know, right? Everything that is printed is obsolete. And you print again, it's obsolete. And hey, we are talking about sustainability. Yeah? So you want to keep doing that? What are you going to do with a pile of PowerPoint? Because sometimes you want to keep it just in case somebody catch you 1 year later and say, why did you implement that? You have your evidence. Okay? But then you can't remember why you wrote that back then. Okay, what does the color green meant in that particular diagram? So again, you go back to the standards. So a tool is important, I would say. It keeps the single source of truth for collaboration, to communicate the EA ideas and values to the different stakeholders. Yeah. Okay. EA has to be, competency have to be relevant. Okay. One, at least recognized by authorized or accredited by global industry bodies. There's a standard like Open Group. It's one. IASA, another one. Okay. Supported by the government funding program. Very, very important. Why? It's for easy adoption. One, is on your budget. Number two, it's recognized. If you're for example, the Singapore government support a particular training program, you know that, okay, they have already vetted through and they have done the due diligence. Okay, this is something that I can get my team to attend. I don't have to justify too much. Okay, so it's easy. Then the next one is skills competency assessment development. There are tool sets out there that you can use to evaluate what are the skills required for a certain function within the EA practice, as well as for non-architects, yeah? For EA collaborators, for EA contributors, the business team. There are programs for them as well. Yeah? So if you want to know what they are, I think you can speak to the team over there. They are very eagerly waiting for your questions and answers. They will give you the answers later. Okay, it needs to be mapped to certain skills framework. Now, many a time, courses are developed without aligning to a certain framework or having a body of knowledge. It's written as a guide, just a training guide, I would say. A curriculum, a proper curriculum would have an alignment to certain framework, okay, and certain competency that they will need to fulfill based on the job task, okay, of that particular learning that they are going through. Okay, we need to contextualize it with coaching and workplace learning. That's another area that we can upskill. I heard a lot about reskilling, upskilling. Okay, it's very hard to find architects today. Very, very hard. And we have a lot of experienced people within the organization. Why not bring them up? For those who are keen, give them the opportunity to rise up and move into that space, yeah, architecture space. Okay, join the enterprise architects network. It's another area where you can gain knowledge. Experience EA practitioners, guide and input. Talk with people within the EA chapter. A lot of them have already implemented. We have heard the panel just now sharing about their own practices. Those are insights and things that we can glean off them, you know, and see how we can adopt them in our own workplace. Yeah. Then alignment to the enterprise needs. At the end of the day, it has to be aligned to the enterprise needs. Okay, let me come to the body of knowledge. This is the IASA body of knowledge, and they have 4 specializations, 5 actually now with the solution architecture. But more importantly, I want you to focus on the 5 pillar skill set. Now, all their programs will cover 5 of these pillars, because these are the fundamental pillars that architects should have. Okay, design skills, human dynamics, quality attributes, IT environment, business technology strategy. These are the 5 areas, yeah, that every architect in any EA engagement that they do, EA work that they do, need to adopt one or more of these. It will be prevalent in those activities that they do. Okay, design is about requirements, modeling. Okay, the easy part. Okay, traceability, views and viewpoints, that's one area. Next is the human dynamics. Now, I would say human dynamics is one of the most critical part of the 5 pillars. It is how you look at your team, how you decide who can do what, and who do you need to socialize with, who do you need to keep close. Keep your enemy closer so that you know what's going on. Okay, socialize your thoughts and all that. So, how to do it? How do we communicate effectively? How do we engage with these EA collaborators, stakeholders? Is the human dynamics. Yep. Quality attributes. It's about manageability, supportability, flexibility. IT environment talks about the space that we are in, okay, the technology landscape, etc. And then the last part is to glue everything together would be the business technology strategy. Okay? And this is the ability to understand the business context and putting into perspective, aligning technology to the business. So we need to look back, we need to connect back to the business. Yeah? Okay, so industry certification, there are a lot of certifications out there from IASA, the Business Technology Architecture Body of Knowledge, the Open Group, ISACA, etc. So there are some courses already out there. Okay, and in Singapore, we are aligned to the skills framework for ICT. IMDA has worked with the industry experts. Okay, I believe like a couple of years back, they have basically contacted us, and they have also invited Aaron to sit in to provide inputs into the skills required for architects. Okay. So this is the latest skills framework. If you can see, right, from data, infra, professional service, security, support, software and applications, sales and marketing. You are wondering what is sales and marketing got to do with ICT? This is sales and marketing for companies that are focusing on ICT products. Again, it's a specialization. It's not general market, sales and marketing. Yeah. So these are the skills framework for ICT. Okay, and they have even, if you go to this website, okay, this is your resource. If you want to know how to develop a roadmap, where do you get the information, want to get the information from, go to this website. Yeah. And in that website, you can see, if you look at enterprise architecture, you can see the pathway for someone who wants to be a chief technology officer, for example. Okay? Starting from an analyst, associate data engineer, associate business analyst, and it goes to AI translator, business analyst, again, software architect, solutions architect. So the pathways are like that. You can start from here and you move up. So the skills framework is helping individuals to be able to visualize and plan their growth. Okay, this is one example. There are many, many other examples here. Go and have a look. Yeah? And this will help you to build that roadmap for your learning needs for the organization in terms of enterprise architecture. Yeah? So looks like, how many of you are solution architect? Okay, good. One day, you'll be the CTO. That's the pathway. You have taken a shortcut. You're bypassing this. So that's what it means, where you are now. Okay, look at this map and then you will see your path. And this will also help you to plan for your team as well. Okay, what is their learning roadmap? Okay, so there are proficiency level. Again, it's very detailed. Go in, the resource is there. A lot of work has gone into this. Yeah, I'm doing this selling because I believe in this. I see value in this. Okay, so I want to share this with you. Okay, so they have like generic skills competency as well. So we don't just learn just about EA skills or enterprise architecture, solution architecture skills, but even generic skills like creative thinking, right? Earlier on we heard about design thinking, creative thinking, developing people, decision making. So if you are a leader already in your organization, leading a team, okay? So, and you feel that, hey, I'm not ready to lead, or for some reason, I'm not doing, how else can I do better? Then look at this. How do I develop people? Okay? Go and look at leadership. Go and look at teamwork. How are you going to help to equip your team members, for example? Okay, you want to bring up a supervisor or a line lead to a higher level. How do I equip that person to have that skill? Okay? So the skills framework has that, yeah? To make full use of it. Okay? So this is the detail. This is very, sorry. Okay, this is very detailed. If you look at this, it'll tell you at what level, okay, of engagement in terms of the thought process. Level 4, level 5, level 6. Level 1 and 2 is more for like, how to prepare food, or the, like clean hygiene practice, etc., etc. Very basic understanding. Okay, here is more of a very high level thinking process here. Okay, so they will talk to you about like fundamental concept of an enterprise, industry trends and business. So whatever courses that is mapped to this skills framework here at this level must be able to fulfill these areas of knowledge. Okay? So this is the areas of knowledge that needs to be covered. Okay? So what is in a roadmap? Very simple. How do you develop, okay, a learning roadmap? Number one, the learners can basically, there's a few approaches. One is the workplace learning. That means OJT. You teach, you groom, okay? But it'll be much more constructive if you have a OJT plan, a workplace learning plan, okay? In which part of their path do you come in actively to coach, guide, etc. Okay? Next, certifications. Like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of certifications out there. Coaching. Coaching is more, not so much OJT, but more of getting professionals in for a quick jump start. Okay? Getting professionals in to help you with the coaching. Meaning a coach doesn't do the work, it guides you, and then let you do the work yourself, and then come in, do some correction, some guidance, some clinic, mentoring clinic, and then move on. Okay, so that's coaching. Another area is self-learning, self-paced learning. Meaning, if you have a roadmap for a particular staff, for example, this person needs to be able to cover certain topics by themselves, go through certification, a few certification that is required. Next, some soft skill they need to go and take. Then some coaching. So if they see these, then they know, okay, now I need to do this. Okay, so these are some of the learning topics that I need to be familiar with or go through it. So at least they are guided in that sense. Yeah. Okay, so how do you plan this out? Okay, understand your organization strategy first, so you align to it. Okay, then what's the competency alignment? What sort of competency is required for that particular role to be able to carry out the work? Yeah. Next, where they are. So they don't have to start from zero. Okay. So as adult learning, we are in LLI, which is Lifelong Learning Institute. Okay. So it's to see where you are, what are the experience that you have currently, and how that experience can offset some of the learning that you have already gone through. Yeah. Next is build the capability development solution. Okay, conduct that training and assessment, review the whole result, and then reiterate. Yeah. Okay, this is a sample of a competency roadmap. Who should do what? Who should learn what? This is just an example, but some of these we have actually implemented. Yeah. So if you look at this, on the left-hand side here, look at all the training programs. Okay, and then here you look at the roles. Okay, so you have the architects here. Okay, then you have the IT managers and all that, LOBT heads, business, technology, stakeholders. Okay, so these are the business people. So if you see 2-star, 1-star means they don't have to be going deep dive into the topic. Okay, so just enough so that they have an empathy for technology adoption. Okay, the word is empathy. They won't sympathize. Okay, they will empathize only. So at least get them on board. Okay, get them to see what's the mindset like. Similarly, there's also a program for IT folks to understand the business, especially those who have just joined and they are not familiar with what business is, and they're very happy to stay in the data center all day long, not coming out and with their thick jacket, right? Oversized jacket, I would say, okay, because they'll be there for a few years, so they'll grow into it. So they need to empathize and understand what the business is doing, and what they are doing is for the business. Okay? So here are some approaches. Okay, some of these programs are already in place, so you can also check with the team over there. Okay, so things like reskilling new hire from non-IT background to business analyst or IT analyst. That is the beginning. Okay, how do you get people? How do you groom people to, quickly have them on board so that you can start, get them involved in the projects itself or the work itself. Yeah. For me, in my work as an IT architect, enterprise architect, I handle a lot of projects as well. My challenge is getting people. And when I get people, they are not aligned. They speak a different language in terms of EA. So we need to get them on board. To get them on board, it will take some time. So I rather groom people who are in the junior to come up. It's much, much easier because they already know the culture. They know some lingo. They understand the work practice. It's easier to, upskill them. Okay, when they come in, okay, we reskill. Then the next thing is, this is from IT background to aspiring architects. Okay, so the pathway is slightly different. These are some of the training programs. Then the next one is skilling and upskilling. That means go deeper, dive deeper, give them more, teach them, groom them, okay? And one of the most difficult role is leaders, enterprise architecture leaders who can run, okay, a sprint or project. So that's how we groom our people to be able to run for future projects, okay, for future engagements. Okay? So to get someone from outside takes a long time, okay, and you do not know whether they will be able to deliver in the next 3 months. Okay, that's trial and error for 3 months. It's easier if you know someone and you understand that they have that ability and attitude to groom them to take on the role. Okay, so it's within your control. That is why a learning roadmap helps. Okay, competency development roadmap helps. Okay, so just to show some of the training programs, when you come in as a business IT analyst, okay, it's more for the EA skills competency. And next, we talk about people who wants to be aspiring architects. Is talking more on the framework already, okay? And there's our SSG certification as well, open group certification, etc. Okay. Then we talk about practitioner, people who practice. What do they need? Okay. So we have specialization like solution architect, information architect, or infrastructure architect, etc. Yeah. And then master architect. So who are the master architects? You already heard them. They spoke. Okay, they are here. So that is when you look at strategy EA leadership, that's where they drive the EA. Okay, and they will be the one who will be grooming the next level of masters or leaders. Okay. Okay, so there are some government funding out there for those of you who are interested. Okay. Okay. Courses are commencing 1st Jan. For those who are above 40, there are some fundings for it. Okay, Singapore citizen, etc., etc. Those 25-year eligible for Skills Future Credit, etc. So there are many programs out there. Okay. So if your learning budget or training budget is tight, so this will help as well. Okay, easy to justify. Yeah. Okay, commit yourself to lifelong learning. Okay, I have to sell koyok for the place here, Lifelong Learning Institute. The most valuable asset you ever have in your mind is what you put in it. Because end of the day, the value that you carry is what's in you. Okay? So you do not market EA, but you market yourself as the person who is able to execute or to carry out what needs to be done. And with that, I thank you.